Hello again, we are back. Literally just right after finishing that last video, I am ready for the next one. Gotta figure out another topic though. Polyon, cool. Could suck some stuff up here. So our seed is CRJRLM72. Yeah, our last run went pretty well. It was, the re-rolls helped though, speed it up a bit. I mean, I could have still rolled with the Chaos card and stuff, but it's like the Chaos card and, the, whatever, the, blank card. But, we need stats. That's what's important. This game kind of lacks somewhat of decent stats. We got pretty fortunate with the D100. So Polyon, he's going to be an interesting character because we can suck stuff up for stats for certain items, passives. And then spacebar items, they'll replicate it every time we hit the spacebar. But we got to be careful with them because like the one in that room, that could send you like certain rooms like that room, the item room, or the shop. I think even the boss fight, maybe the devil deal, I don't know. Something like that. But like you have to be careful because they'll send you to the I am arrow room. Now just skip the whole floor. Which is good after you get everything done, but if you use it, you know, immaturely, then it's like you're gone. Goodbye. Now Golden Teleporter though, I think we would be able to utilize that a little better. Because it's more predictable. I found out recently, by the way, since we're, you know, fine subjects to talk about, there's a venue that is opening up pretty soon again, since they didn't have it last year. I'm thinking about going to. And okay, I do have more water. I figured I had more water here. Yeah, this venue. It's not like the first venue I was talking about with like lack of photography, permissions and stuff. This one is pretty chill for the most part. It doesn't have like the standard carnival rides or anything. It's quite the opposite. But I enjoy it. And the rates have been pretty reasonable, been pretty stable for the most part. These spiders, there we go. No stats on the first floor. Okay, let's try that. Maybe? Okay, there we go. Man, that was close. Just a lot of dodging. Belly button, huh? Well, we could have sucked that up or whatever. I think that gives us an extra trinket space. Yeah, so that's coming up pretty soon, so can't wait for that. As long as it doesn't get delayed or like canceled again. Lost our devil deal to chance already. Those things like run at the speed of sound. You need to slow the speed of those suckers down a little bit. Ah, these things, yeah. No red heart, huh? No red heart. Okay. Guess I might just die here. Okay. I mean, that's good. Let's see. I mean, we might could just hold on to this. Maybe that might keep us alive better? Because if we suck it up, we're going to have a lot less uses for it, but then at the same time, we're skipping out something that can just suck up items and give us stats. I'm kind of torn. You know what I haven't had in a while is a funnel cake. I mean, that stuff is not really good for you, of course, but man, like, that stuff is just like the bomb. It's got that carnival-like feeling to it, too, when you go to these places. They got them. These little, like, setup shops. I'm a little jonesy for pizza too. I mean, geez, like, I just want a bunch of sugar and salt right now. Do I need it? That's questionable. I'd probably be fine with having one of those each. But I probably feel a little sick afterwards with all that stuff. I got a bomb back finally. There we go. I don't really have much to say, really. It's just, I mean, it's still Tuesday, last I checked. What goes on a Tuesday? Well, I found out today, I guess. It's like National Artichoke Day and also National Panda Day. I don't really get the appeal when it comes to like national days and stuff like that. It's like, oh, that's quirky. Like every day is like some kind of a day for like just quirky like stuff. I guess the Panda Day is more of a lines of awareness for like panda stuff, but it's I mean, it's not as, you know, great as holidays or something, you know, especially for like breaks and whatever. It's like, oh, look at this. I know that this day is this day. Did you know? No. Because people keep adding stuff to these days. Like my city, they make up their own holidays. I think this is probably pretty much like old cities, but like I know for a fact my city would just do that off and on. Oh, it's this day. Da, da, da. We're gonna, you know, declare it that day, and then everybody forgets until we get a new like holiday made up for another day, for another month, and all that. It's like, what is this? For a town that size, like, people are not gonna care. They're gonna forget. I mean, even large towns too, I guess. Like, it's just very similar. It's like, let's see, what we got here. I mean, keeps showing up on runs, so let's do it. A little extra buffer for defense. Let's just pop this. Because I think this is the one that just shoots the balls. Or this one just shoots, like, the fire bombs. The hot bombs. Okay, it's just you. So you're a little sketchy at times because you don't have the bombs to blow you up, but hopefully you're running that fire. But don't put out the fire. Speaking of holidays and stuff, St. Patrick's Day I think is tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. I think today's the 16th. Am I gonna drink? I don't know. That's questionable. I can neither confirm or deny my my future like endeavors. So we got bone marrow. You know, let's just roll with this. Forget Void right now. I'm assuming like Void's gonna bite us in the bud in the future, but we'll see. Leaving it behind. I mean, take that damage there a little bit. There we go. But at least we got like a buffer, really. We didn't lose our deal with the devil yet. Hopefully not. We're getting some champions, some nasty champions. We're still on base damage. Yeah, going back with like holidays, it's like, I mean, St. Patrick's Day is obviously much more of a national, like, recognized holiday in the U.S. As opposed to National Panda Day or something weird. Not so much. Oh boy. Hopefully we find another health down pill so it goes up to a health up. I mean, when you think about St. Patrick's Day, you're thinking of some leprechaun or something, or green and beads and drinking. But, an Irish heritage, of course. But then when you think of, like, National Artichoke Day, like, what are you thinking? Artichoke. That's it. Like, what's special about it? It's food. Now, do I like artichoke? I mean, I never had it. I can recall. I assume it's good. Because if it's not good, then, like, nobody eats it. But then, like, I don't know. Well, no, then again, like, just because, like, if you don't like something, then, like, everybody else shouldn't like it either. No, that's not true. There's, like, other weird stuff that people like to eat that I'll probably never touch or never touch again. Like mayonnaise, like, I don't like mayonnaise. It's high in vitamin K though, but I don't like mayonnaise. I don't like ranch either, come to think of it. I've tried ranch, it's just like, no. I mean, you can have your ranch. I'm just having my blue cheese in my salad, you know. You keep your olives while you're at it. And these rooms. I mean, they're not too terribly bad, but that first one earlier was like crazy. Okay. We'll take you. That would probably be nice to get like an extra battery charge to kind of save up. But it is what it is. Look who makes a return. Spoonbender. Doesn't help us with our damage right now, but like, it's gonna help with our tears. Oh, thank goodness we found the, okay. Well, thank goodness we found the, boss room and stuff. Oh, okay, so we got the bigger version of, Little Horn. It's Big Horn. You know, let's just pop this right now. There we go. Yeah, it's, yeah, other holidays too. It's like lesser known, you know, around the world. Like Christmas, for example. You know, you get the generic Christmas, comes one day a year here. Then you got like the Orthodox Christian Christmases and stuff like that. That stretches on. Man, these bombs do not like dealing with this time watch. They don't obey the laws of time. But yeah, it was. They do all sorts of stuff with that kind of tradition. And they might celebrate a little bit differently, like other like traditional ways. You got like Hanukkah and all these other ones too around that time. It's interesting. You know, I don't see as much anymore with people as like trick-or-treating. Like, granted, like, you can probably tell at this point I'm probably like too old for trick-or-treating, which I am. Okay, that's a nice upgrade. And those are just kind of trash items, and I'm kind of insulted by that. Gives me a sour taste in my mouth. Well, yeah, I guess we lost our bone heart, didn't we? So there's that too. Yeah, Halloween, like, I think that kind of just ties with the whole like cultural shift, especially with technology and stuff kind of improving, and kids don't want to go out as much with stuff like that. I mean, also like parents are like more occupied with work and, you know, guardians and stuff. That's a big factor too. Supposed to be the season of the spooks. The spooky time of the year. Oh, I mean, mostly for the candy, not so much of the spooks. Like, back when you were a kid. I mean, well, I guess spooks are like kind of a side, you know, thing to enjoy, but it's like more in the lines of like, how much candy I'm gonna get out of this house. And go as many houses as you can to get like a bunch of candy. Oh, this room is just like a nightmare. Man. If you were like the keeper with like base damage and base like tears, you're gonna have a harder time getting to that room. Oh, and this room too. Oh, I love this room. Keep running into this thing. They even got like some of these floors where it's like just this room, but like no bomb flies. Like you just missed them. They're off like at the Air Force. Just flying their little jet wings. Okay, we go through here. Not jet wings, you know what I mean. Flaps. I guess they're flaps. I mean, yeah, they're wings like birds, kinda. Only it's made out of like some kind of like weird material. It's kind of like plastic wrapping. Little weird little fibers and stuff. Okay, there we go. I thought we were gonna get hit. That'd be pretty cheese. Okay, we use that because we need some money. Golden bomb is nice. That means we might be able to just use the bombs for like whatever. Yeah, trick-or-treating is, I mean, candy has also been getting more expensive, too. I guess, I don't know if that's just, like, just the cost of, like, everything going up with inflation in general, or if it's, like, the candy industry is just, like, you know, becoming more, like, want to be more profitable? I don't know. Something's going up with candy. Well, I didn't mean to do that. That sucks. You know what? Let's try another random run, because I'm not doing any more of that. A little redundant, so we'll try another one. Oh boy. Blue baby. Okay, what we got here? Q4HX EZB4. I mean, that'd be kind of useful. It's slightly better than the poop. But at least with the poop, you get an occasional payout. Like this tiny room. Oh, I love tiny rooms, especially with base damage. And you got a bunch of, like, these little, like, spawning enemies coming at you. I think we would get it. Yeah, there we go. Hopefully that's a blank ruin, so we re-roll our poop. There we go. Here we go. And it's a Volcano, which will help a little bit until we run out of this stuff. There we go. Next one. Remember, like, was it over 10 years ago? The Onion, where they used to make videos and stuff back then before they got bought out, and not doing so much of that. They had a video about, like, Spirit of Halloween, and they're just going on about, like, sacrifices and devil chants and stuff like that. It was pretty hilarious. It was last year? Yeah, it was a little after Halloween. I went back to watch a television movie that... Let's try this. That's nice. Television movie. Oh, we got another one of these. Cool. Oh, I re-rolled to that. Okay. Well, if we get keys. Called... Oh, the Halloween Tree. And the last time I seen that movie was like, you know, over 20 years ago or something. And man, like, it was bad to an extent. Like, granted, I was a kid, and you know, back then when you have like a different taste than what you do now for like stuff. I went back to it, and it's like, man, it's just terrible. Just annoying for like certain parts and stuff, repetitive. It just stretched on way too long than it should. And for the longest time, I thought it was a Disney film or something. But it turns out it was from Warner Brothers. It was a little bit dark, too, for a child's movie back then, I guess. But now how I see, like... Now, from what I read about and see in articles, like, stuff now is a little bit darker. Not as tame. Well, yeah, not as tame, I guess. Back then, you think like, oh, this is a little controversial. Like, this is kind of bad. But then it's like, well, look at the stuff now. And we might die to the haunt. Because it's all stat upgrades. Evidently in this game. Or not in this game, but it's just kind of hidden. Especially for bad characters. we go. Like I said, like the Apollo run, like I knew that it was gonna bit me in the butt when I decided to like run with something for defense and not so much with like using it offensively to like. And then this makes a return, which is practically useless to us because yeah, it'll give us a bone heart, but we can't fill it. So thanks, but no thanks. Yeah, the movie was like, just doing a stretch here. Oh, okay. The movie's, the movie is, it could have been better. I think. I get the gimmick about like traveling to different like countries to see how they kind of celebrate Halloween somewhat, even though it wasn't really Halloween, and it could be been kind of morphed a little bit to kind of fit the narrative with certain things in the film, so to speak, with cultural stuff. But like, I get what they're trying to do, make it both entertaining and somewhat educational. And I remember seeing like other movies over the years that I used to watch when I was a kid that I thought was great, also terrible. And that was terrible too. Alright, we're going to try one more random run here, because that was just like nuts. Oh, another cane run. That's nice. Give us some luck and stuff. TC83Z33Z. That's a lot of threes and Z's and D's. But yeah, going back with those movies, like another one I went back to and rewatched is the Power Rangers movie. And yeah, that was just like garbage. I didn't like it. Like back then, I watched it and I thought it was the coolest thing. Power Rangers. I mean, Power Rangers is still around, of course, but they've done so much with it, and it's like, heck, ridiculous. Nowadays, I just find like whatever adult, like rated R film or PG-13 film kind of thing anymore. Like I watched one last night. I finished. I was getting started with it, and I was like halfway done, so I might as well get through and watch it. And I thought I've heard the name before, but I guess not, because it was a French film made in '95 called The City of Lost Children or something like that. And it was like the strangest film. Not because it's French, but like, it's because like how bizarrely it was set up. It was like kind of a mix of a Tim Burton film with like kind of a James the Giant Peach kind of thing to it, and Lemony Snicket's. But it was a rated R film. And man, was it weird. So like the whole City of Lost Children thing, basically it's like, well, it's not really basically, because like it's kind of hard to even like describe to you what the purpose was with the children in the film. Like, I get the idea they were being kidnapped and something about dreams, harvesting, or trying to figure out why they have like nightmares. This guy's trying to figure out how to dream. I don't know, something's weird about the film. If I watch it multiple times, I might get it a little bit more, but like right now it's like I probably won't return back to that film. Was it interesting? Yeah, it was interesting. Where I recommended to people, not not so much. I'll hold off on that. Let's see. We might get a nickel out of this. Cool, cool. You know what? Like, in case we die, we can get the poster. Though we won't have a holy mantle when we respawn as the Lost. At least it gives us a little bit more survivability. Gotta take some sip of that water. Get my throat hydrated. Deal with my quench. What else was I saying? So, like, also a film I decided to see, I've heard about, and never seen before, was, what is it called? Was it an 85 or 86 film of Huckleberry Finn, like a kid's thing, a claymation, but it was, like, really warped. Really warped. I've heard it, like, because of how warped it is, like, to, like, just go watch it, and I did. I don't really recommend that either. I mean, given it's like a different generation of stuff, of like how things are like set up now with films, it's like just really weird. Another weird film I seen was the movie Parasite. I keep hearing people talk about it when it first came out, so I decided to watch it, and it was like, I mean, pretty bizarre too. It's one of those films you just watch it once and just forget about it. It's like, why? Well, like, some people have kind of differences when it comes to preference for that stuff, so like it kind of varies with people with like if that's good or not. Another weird one I seen was some couple years back was Mother, and there was just too much stuff going on at once. Oh yeah, enough about films though. Try to figure out what else to talk about. Oh, just nice stretch. So how are we doing this run? It's going all right. Oh, that's nice. So since we got more options, we'll be able to get a choice of what items we have, a little bit more wiggle room. Our health is a little subpar, our damage is a little better, but we need to get some more kick to it. Want to stay alive in the future floors. Shield of Tears, I decided to pick that up because, like, might be a good defensive item in the future. Get a good Tears upgrade, you might be able to block some decent shots with certain enemies. These spiders. See, these spiders are a little unpredictable at times, because sometimes they'd be like, oh, look at me, I'm bouncing a short distance, and then they just do, like, a freaking jump across the planet. There we go. Get that. I mean, if anything, like, if UPS, like, or not UPS, if Amazon wanted some delivery, like, alternatives, like, those jumping spiders would be, like, crazy fast. I don't know if I want a speed upgrade. Oh, no. Man, that was close. Had to bait him. Oh boy, man, this is. What's with this run? Okay, we go this way. Hopefully it's the boss room. We have to go to the boss room at this point. Or if we find a shop, that'd be nice. Get a spirit heart. What was I saying? Besides this run, I guess. Man, I forgot. Jeez. Just shifting back and forth and stuff. It's just like cray. Okay, we don't have any bombs for that. You're tempting, but like I don't have the money and resources, and I need bombs. This is the wrong way too, so let's just squeeze on through to the other side. There we go. So many pots, so many spiders, so many bombs. We're gonna get that rope thing last floor, the noose. I do not want to go through 7 circles of hell to get that that rock that may just pay out with a golden chest with like a heart. So the heart would be useful, but it's like too risky here. Pin's not too bad. And do I want a shot speed with a card, or do I want speed? I'm going to say it's just speed. And you betrayed my trust with this devil deal. Oh, that doesn't make it up still.
Friends till the end.
There we go. We go. We down. I guess we could talk about cookware. I don't know. I used to like cook. Oh, what is it? I used to cook with like Teflon and stuff like that until I found out like some effects behind them, which is basically non-stick. And I seen a documentary on YouTube about Teflon, which kind of prompted me to stop even further with my Teflon use. And then I kind of switched over to stainless steel. Though pricier and stuff, like it's better quality, it lasts longer. Well, yeah, I mean, the downside, like, of course, it's like, you know, it's harder to clean and stuff, but, like, if you soak it with water and just do, you know, quite a bit of scrubbing and stuff with, you know, with some soap, then, like, it's going to become a little easier for you. Scrubbing that stuff out. I can't say for certain about, like, dishwashing machines. I think they work pretty well with scrubbing that stuff off. But like the downside when it comes to like clean non-stick stuff, especially cooking with it too, which is bad, is you kind of scrape that stuff off and it gets into like you or like the ecosystem. And it's all that. See, the thing with like stickware and stuff, it's kind of more of appeal of like, you know, quick satisfaction of just getting things done and not dealing with a mess. It's like it's like kind of like a rise right now of convenience and fast pace and getting things done immediately kind of like attitude, instead of like taking your time with getting things done and whatnot. It's this instant gratification kind of culture we're kind of living in. It's like we gotta have it now. We want it now. We want all this. I didn't mean go out of that room. We got more bomb flies. It's a fly zone. Should be a no-fly zone though. These things are not under regulation. I gotta do this room again, but without like all that, all those black poops. But yeah, it's just it's very similar too with like aluminum. Like there's been research been coming out more and more how that's like tied to like Alzheimer's and dementia and stuff like that, all sorts of unhealthy stuff. But like we still use all those items despite health effects. At least some people are becoming more conscious with the idea that stay away from it. Speaking of flies, we got a fly. And more flies! Is there like a mountain of trash somewhere that's attracting these suckers? Kind of reminds me too, like back in Roman days. Watched the history video about it. About some of the Roman cooking back then. And there was this thing called sapa. Which sapa is like, I think it's like cooked down fermented grapes. They turn into a kind of like a sticky substance. And so for the Romans, you know, having sweet stuff is a big deal. Because I think they had sugar. I don't know. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they had like, maybe sugar was, well, back then sugar was like considered a delicacy. It was really expensive at this time. Even all the way up to like the 17 or 1800s, I think, if I recall. Don't quote me on that, but like, it was expensive back then. And so sapa, they would cook that down. I think they do other stuff with it. But then what was interesting was, back then they were cooking in a lot of like lead pots, lead-laced pots. And so like, that was explaining like all these detrimental effects with like all the Romans and stuff like that, especially the emperors, who were getting more into the stuff. And they were like drooling and not thinking clearly and stuff like that. Let's see. Now we got some money. We might be able to go back here and get this. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of another floor. We'll take that. Oh boy. It paid for itself, so that's nice. The bomb almost got me. I would have been a little cheesed. Sorry. Throat's getting scratchy. Anyways, so they were doing this lead, cooking in these lead pots and stuff like that, in high heat. And what was happening was, like, of course, the lead was leaching off of the, off the pots. And it was like ending up in the mixture. And they were eating it, and scientists were just like figuring out, like, how much lead were they really consuming? And then they did some analysis work and stuff, and they found out it was like far more than what they realized it'd be, which is like far deadlier. Because like there's lead in water and stuff, but very like minute amounts depending on what your source is. I'm saying like tap water, it's somewhat reasonable. But in their case, they were just like super crazy high. And causes all sorts of like health effects, especially like cancer stuff. And well, back then there was like not much of understanding of any of that. But the interesting thing was the reason why they were continuing to cook in lead pots and didn't use any alternatives, because it's taste. So like, because of the lead taste in the sapa, it made a unique flavor. So you're tasting really more of the lead. And it's doing something more chemically insane with it. Let's take this. Can we get over there? Okay, we can. Good. Risky biscuits, but we gotta find a way to get health generation, if by the means of being on one last heart. Would I try Sapa? Or Sapa, or whatever it's called? Yeah, if it's prepared correctly. I mean, like, I don't want, like, lead poisoning. What we got here? So this gives us a little bit more defense. So we'll stick with Book of the Dead, I think. I think it's called Undead. And I heard Sapa is pretty straightforward for the most part of how to make it. Charm, tears, whatever. I mean, it's just extra item. Good thing these spiders don't chase me down, except for these smaller ones. The bigger ones are just okay. That's nice. GG. We got a good payout with that. But yeah, like. That's Sapa, I guess, in a nutshell. Sort of. I mean, there's like other stuff you can learn about Sapa, of course, but like. It kind of reminded me too of another thing I learned about, which was the. Oh, what is it called? So China had this thing thousands of years ago. The Terracotti Soldiers. That's what it was. And I learned quite a bit about it. Even like other stuff after the fact for class. So the Terracotti, I think it was a culture. Or maybe it's like a name specifically for these soldiers. I don't know which. But like. The thing about the Terracotti was, these particular things was originally they would bury their emperors and stuff like that in mausoleums. I think they did that for a while. And they had this belief that evil spirits and stuff like that would like try to harm the emperor's spirit. Something like that. We'll take that. I mean, we could use a tears upgrade, but at this point, a little bit more health doesn't hurt. And they believe that, like, in order to protect them, we're going to have to, like, put a bunch of soldiers down in there. I think they slaughtered them to, like, throw them down in there. And I think, like, in theory, more dead bodies equals more dead spirits equals more protection for the emperor. So originally they did that for a while before they realized, like, well, this is a colossal mistake because, like, we need those guys to, like, defend our cities in the first place. Why are we doing this? So instead, they came up with some kind of a new canon within their belief system to where it's like, instead of using actual soldiers, they're going to use stone statues made of soldiers to protect them. I don't really understand the culture like understanding of these inanimate objects as supposed to like guard the emperor of like hostile spirits, but it is what it is. But like, they built like thousands of these things, I guess. Slave labor, of course. It wasn't like, you know, done like as a hobby by any means. But There was a lot of, like, you know, dangers doing it too, to an extent. You know, going down in there, working long hours and stuff like that to build these kind of structures and getting a risk, you know, having a stone fall on you. But they take quite a bit of time, I guess, to build those, and they believe that like this would protect them. Like I said, they also done other interesting things too, like they build build these carriage things inside with like fake horses too, even, and that's particularly for the emperor, I believe. For him, and the interesting thing, you think like, okay, maybe it'd be like the Egyptians, where it's like they also bury kind of stuff with them, little jewels or something for certain like higher ups. No, quite the opposite for this culture. Um, Instead, they were doing more in the lines of empty spaces. And their logic behind that was that these empty spaces would allow the what they call the post-humanist soul to um, resurrect and do their thing inside of this chariot, give them room to do stuff, even though there's nothing like in there. But on the flip side, I don't know, it was around that time or afterwards, they were doing more compartmental stuff for like lesser, like parties, like lesser, like staff, not staff. um, you know, this is truly an insult right here, right there. I'm not gonna like tolerate it any longer. Um, let's go down. Let's keep the uh, the lockpick. Um, so instead they were doing like this thing where they were just like put people's bodies together, or a body together. It might be multiple. I think it might be just mostly one. One at a time. And they would do this compartmental thing where they just lay them down in the bottom or something like that. And then they have like all these different like compartments, different layers of stuff too, of just various objects and whatever. So like what they do, for example, back then, this is, keep in mind this is like thousands of years ago, nothing modern, but they so they put the body down there. I think they wrapped the body too, and they try to remember. It's been a while. They put a bunch of instruments down in there. Instruments, food, gifts, whatever, right? And so it's like the opposite of what, you know, the similar culture was doing, you know, before or after or something like that. But like the thing about it is, they believe that other spirits would somehow end up into this container, not container, but this compartment thing, in order to resurrect themselves to entertain the soul with food and instruments and stuff like that. So somehow they believe that like this thing is gonna like this stuff is gonna like cause the spirits to come out and like entertain the soul of the dead that's mainly in the grave. And well, scientists found, you know, these things, and obviously the food is spoiled. I mean, I think we could agree with that. It's like, I mean, I don't think the dead would care about like, you know, greasy, moldy food that's been ruined. That's interesting how like different like even just different eras and stuff like that for the same culture, they kind of change everything with like canon. I guess how you put it, just like with stories and stuff like that, like you can shift the canon in order to like appeal to an audience. But what we don't really talk about though, when I was in class for that kind of stuff, it was like, what really caused the trend to it? You know, I mean, given the fact that like that would be a whole different discussion, and probably a lot longer than it should be. But it'd be interesting to see trends. Like when I was taking another class too, was learning about like all these cathedrals. Well, that's later on, but like kind of seeing some of those kind of aspects growing from like the early stages of like church stuff to where it's like more of a more of what is commonly recognized now with like cathedrals these days and their styles, and as well as mosques too. We learned about there hasn't been as many changes with mosques per se. There were some changes, but not as drastic as like cathedrals. They've done an incredible amount of work for like both aesthetics, you know, fitting the balance between aesthetics and structure, you know, being structurally sound. Like, for example, the churches back in the day used to be, like, thousands of years before, like, medieval times. Used to be where it was, like, more blocky. It was more the lines of just kind of staying put, not so much with aesthetics, designs of it. And then that started to creep out and start making things, experimenting in things to make it more structurally sound, but making it also like more pretty. And it's kind of a cool process as you kind of learn about all these different churches and how they kind of just change different things and you know, revolutionize those sorts of like engineering structure. It's just this again. Look at this. What are you doing to me? This is the second one. What are you doing to me? I don't want a lot of this stuff. At least I got our shop in the next floor. Hopefully not greed. I want devil deals, not this. Yeah, it's interesting, like the progression. You even got like some early churches, like like early mosques, for example. They were putting Christian-related art in their, or depicted people at the time, because it was like the early form of Islam. But they were like portraying Jesus and stuff like that, which is really cool. But then later on, of course, the culture's changed, and then there was this this shift from drawing people to like. Then it got to another thing where it's like they're using plants, plants for their works. Like, I didn't really get much of a confirmation when I was in class for that, but I kind of asked, like, you think because of their religious shift with, you know, their canon and stuff, there might be, they probably think, like, do you think they probably doing that to avoid, like, the issue with, like, drawing people because of their religious background or something? And they're using, like, maybe plants and vines and stuff as a way to like represent themselves and others in a culture. And the teacher didn't really have much of an answer for that, but I think to me I feel like they kind of do. They've been doing that, before they kind of shift to just kind of letters, mostly calligraphy, which is kind of cool looking too. Because in another class I had, talk about Asian art and stuff, and there was like this rise of calligraphy, particularly with symbolism with calligraphy. And then also symbolism, a rise of symbolism when it comes to like inanimate objects. So like metaphors and stuff like that they're kind of working with. And so like, I'm trying to remember, China, I think Japan too, they, at the time they were using, say like mountains and trees to like display like representations of like their emperor, being strong and mighty and higher up, and then you got the lesser forms kind of sprawled out. You may think like it's just like a landscape photo, not photo, but a painting, but in actuality it's actually a huge symbolic thing for them to do something for the court's, painting system. So I was thinking they were doing something similar with like, or Islam was doing something similar at the time to like, doing symbolic work to kind of, circumvent like the issues with like, the changing, ever-changing like religious aspects of everything that's going on. I guess that kind of ties with the Terracotti too, because like it's also symbolism. I mean, symbolism is a huge like deal, metaphoric, whatever. Oh, I keep thinking that's an enemy. Okay. We'll use that. I don't know if that did much. Should be using our Book of the Dead some more often. Run's pretty decent. Damage is okay. I don't know what's keeping us through with these like a devil deals, but we got a backup plan with Judas' Shadow. I'm not using it because we don't have a way to like get a bunch of health. And this room just gonna go away. Just go away. There we go. And this room's just like whatever. But yeah, it's interesting. Like I also seen too with like different cultures kind of copying one another, like taking each other's canon and like shifting stuff for cultural aspects of things. And I didn't really notice that early on until I was taking, some of these classes, different classes, and it's like, huh. So everybody's just stealing everybody else's ideas to like make it look nice. I mean, it's no different than today's culture, It's like, I'm gonna take this element and shift it to where it looks like it's original, but it's slightly warped. Well, you know what? We'll just take that and just eat that. There we go. Yum. And we'll take this and we'll try this. What they should do with ritual pills is not only give you that weird like effect, but also like give a temporary like confusion confusion effect, like with concussive tears. Do that with enemies too, not just like blind your vision temporarily. We'll take this. So a little bit of a damage upgrade. Yippee. Also, we got this charmed fellow here, which he's pretty much like immortal. So that's nice. Because, like, you can't really kill him unless you kill the enemies in the room. Who's the only enemy in the room? Me. So, Yeah, that's nice. That's kind of a rare trait. Oh, watch out. There we go. I mean, culture changes all the time, obviously. It's just like, it's interesting to kind of look back and see how, like, people adapted and bled into certain things that are, like, a little bit different than what they were, what they are now. Yeah, it can get controversial at times, but, like, it's interesting to kind of see the progressive of how things are going. And then, I guess there's studies out there of, like, people, like, figuring out this kind of stuff of like how this transition just kind of came about. I don't know what you call that, but like trends. I don't know. I guess you call it trends, trending. Like the spike here look in the 90s. To make it look like you're a 90s Backstreet Boy or something. Or NSYNC. Let's see here. We'll take Lucky Toe. I think Lucky Toe has a little bit of a benefit compared to just getting base luck, if I recall. We also got a lucky foot because we're canes, so that gives us some benefit. Yeah, trends are, like I said, just changing all the time. People have been trying to make up trends to make it look like this is cool, but trends die, trends come back, just trends. You can't dictate those trends, you just gotta like ride the wave. What we got here at this point? Extra bombs, that doesn't help me too much, but at least this shop helped to an extent, these shops. Extra health, a little bit of this and that. What else I learned? I mean, the calligraphy thing, like, so they did something similar to, just like with the mountains and stuff like that, which they were also doing some calligraphy play. So they're like using like pretty writing to like kind of represent people and other stuff. I think they did something similar with like societal like hierarchy and stuff, but I can't remember. It's been a while, like I said. And court painters and stuff like that, especially like for China and other countries back then, they take that stuff extremely like seriously, because like it's tied not only with a culture, but it's also tied with like a religious aspect to a degree. And they want to like look as impressionable as they can even after they're dead. Which to me, I'm not talking about like, you know, any famous, you know, rulers and as well as everybody else, because everybody just forgets about everybody. As Johnny Cash would say, so what did he say? I know I had it on the tip of my tongue, but I forgot. Everyone goes in the end, something like that. It's a song from Pain. But back then, it was a serious deal. Like they even went to the point where like they would like get really expensive pigments, especially for like court portraits of them. to represent themselves, like let's see, is it azul or something like that? The blue pigment coloring made out of some sort of substance, and it's extremely expensive and high quality. But like back then, of course, these kingdom ships and stuff like that, and whatever they're not so friendly when it comes to like the average folk, so to speak. Finances, but they sure like spend a lot of money for all this stuff to make things look pretty. Taj Mahal, for example, they use quite a bit of money, of course, and resources to build it. Fun fact about the Taj Mahal is they almost built a similar one across some waterway. And it was supposed to be a black color, you know, opposite of the white color. And that, I think, if I recall, would be the prince who was supposed to be buried there. But because of cost and stuff like that, they couldn't do it. Now, if I recall, the first one was meant for the burial of Matif Mahal. I think that's her name. Which is the wife of, I think it's Jah Jahal. I'm trying to remember the names. I think that sounds right. Because I think she died before he died. So that explains, like, the construction of it and stuff. And putting her in a proper burial. But, like, they had a lot of sophisticated, like, gardens, and the gardens represent, like, if I recall, like Eden or something like that. Also, like, a lot of symbolism behind it. But it had, like, jewels and stuff like that. I think they had rubies in one, like, ceiling room or something. Something like that. It was some kind of a jewel. They had just numerous of it. Just worth a substantial amount of money. I mean, you got the money for it. I mean, like, you just trick it out as much as you want. Even the Versailles Palace, like, they've done a considerable amount of work too with building it, and who could be allowed for, like, different rooms and stuff like that. It's crazy, this whole aspect of, like, how this is all going to turn out. It's still around to this day. I mean, all those, like, major structures, of course, but of course they have a lot of them shifted when it comes to, like, landscapes to an extent. Like, I think Versailles, I think they're still cutting grass with scissors. I think. I don't think, well, no, that can't be right, because, like, that's just taking an eternity, and you're going to get some blisters and stuff with your hand. But, maybe they are still. I can't remember. But, like, back then, they were doing a lot of that. Make it very precise. Very precise cuts. Because it's supposed to be, like, some kind of a paradise for King Louis. The something. I don't know, I lost count. But yeah, like, trends today, like, trends of yesterday, they were just, like, just so numerous. Everything's just ever changing. Why? Because I think part of the reason is just, like, keeping, like, a fresh coat of paint without getting bored with it. It's like listening to your favorite music, right? It's like, we got Curse the Blind here. Actually, okay, that helps. Let's see what we got here. Friendly ball. The inner eye. I don't know about that. Whatever. At least we're able to see where we're going. So we'll take a right here. Oh, this room. Okay. So yeah, the thing about it is like with music, you listen to music too much, like your favorite music, eventually you get tired of it. I mean, that's just like natural, of course. And then like over time, as time goes on, you start to like not appreciate it as much. You're not as much into it, and then it gets kind of like awkward. Okay. Well, we died there, so I'm gonna say we're gonna go around. Okay, this is a little bit more reasonable. We should be utilizing our thing. There we go. Some health. Let's try this. There we go. Yeah, it's just like with music. It's like, oh, this is so cool. I'm gonna listen to this forever, and then you get tired of it, and it's like, eh. To a certain degree. I mean, it depends on the music and the person and stuff, of course. The only way you can replicate the first time having it is like, you know, not have any memory of it somehow. Let's see. This way. Okay. So we just get hit right off the bat in the room without like able to like dodge so easily. So I think we're going to be safe for the boss fight, maybe. Okay, now we're a little bit more confident with that. Because we just got a substantial amount of health. Thank you, Rosary Bead. Rosary Bead. And perks. That perks is going to help with the boss fight. Or for emergency's sake. Justice card doesn't do too much for us because we got too many keys. Gotta be careful with that Boney because he'll blow up. There we go. What we got here? Tough love. I gotta be careful with these boxes too because I might get cursed eye. That could just like bite me in the butt too. Now, how do you resurrect a dead meme? That is like something out of my like expertise, so to speak. I guess you can consider like all these like trends as memes, really. It's like you gotta find something that kind of sticks in the wall and then just kind of go with it, and then people get tired and they change the rules. Oh, we got bookworm, but okay, let's pop perks. Overall, that was a decent run. I know we started a couple of times, but like this one kind of stuck. For a cane run, I mean, it's not to be expected. It's to be expected because like Kane's got a little bit more damage than the start, and he's got a lucky foot. Things like that. Devil deals, though, they were kind of lacking. I mean, we had 2 devil deals that was just like hot garbage. So we are not going the void. But yeah. Thanks for watching the video, and like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.